Hello, hello. I am Cassie Brown, and I am thrilled to welcome you to the Amplify My Impact podcast. After years of consulting and managing programs for some of the top entrepreneurs, CEOs, and marketers in the industry, I am on a mission to expand our contribution, to grow, scale, and create more so we can do and give more. This podcast celebrates entrepreneurs who are boldly stepping up to own their calling, expand their influence, and stretch outside their comfort zone, who've decided to stop playing it small, pick up the mantle of contribution, and serve at a higher level, to lead by example and light the way for others. If that's you, then get ready to amplify. There's a fire that burns inside your soul, and we're going to ignite it into a roaring blaze of unstoppable momentum. Hey guys, Cassie Brown here. Welcome back to the Amplify My Impact podcast, and going to be streaming on YouTube. So we're really, really excited. I have today with me just an incredible human being, wonderful example for a powerful, strong, and confident woman, totally stepping up and leading the way in digital marketing, Miss Alex Elliot. She's the creator of the One Group Away Challenge, and we want to give a special shout out to the digital marketing. Digital marketing. It's a mouthful. For online entrepreneurs, lovingly known as the DM hose. I love your sense of humor and the way that you bring it into everything, like humor, energy, everything. And, what we're talking about today as we prepared for this episode is not only, being your true authentic self in your business, but being willing to take that same renewal of your soul and your growth mindset evolution as a person and as a business owner, and applying that same mindset to your business.
Amen.
Our businesses, aren't the little babies that they once were, in every little growth phase as we go through, just like we go through those personal development, and we figure out things we need to unlearn, things we need to leave behind. Our businesses are the same way. Some products or services or things that we're doing may not be serving us right here and now. And I know you're going through this with your business. Jorge and I, we just had a couple days of our virtual retreat, evaluating the same things in our business. So I'm really excited about just talking about the evolution of business. So I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm gonna let you go because I know you're just about to explode.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me here. And it's such a cool thing. I always joke and talk to people, and I say, entrepreneurs, we think we're playing the game of money. That's what we think we're actually doing. But in reality, this is just one big personal development conference. That's all we're doing. We're really all just unlearning all this programming and relearning different programming. And then it's almost like gamification. We're just getting to different levels. But the only way, one of Russell Brunson's, one of the best things I think he ever said was, your personal income will never outpace your personal development, ever. And so, for me, one of the keys to business is continual personal development, and, extending that out from one's own person to one's business, because all one's business is an extension of self. It's just an expression of self. And so if you're going to do the hard work of, turning that eye to yourself consistently and going, cool, what's not serving me? What should I put aside and what should I take on? And how can I learn from my mistakes and all these things, right? Then I think needs be, we also apply that very same critical eye to our businesses at kind of unique junctures, right? Sort of periodically, I would say maybe every quarter, every year, et cetera. But, we're in a really unique time. A really unique time right now. And I think that this unique time requires some unique lenses, as it were. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. So you guys sit back, grab a cup of coffee. If you're riding in the car, that means that we have, we're out, pay attention to your social distancing and all of that good stuff. But just buckle up and get ready for a ride. Because I love, in talking and preparing for the episode, I loved how Alex wanted to parallel the evolution and development of your business with our personal development. Yeah. And personal development is something that we all know as we grow, we have to invest time and resources in. Amen. Like we have coaches, you know, you mentioned Alex Sharpin. I love Alex Sharpin. We've worked with him. You're with Liz Benny. So it's one of those things where we recognize that, but we have to take that same application to our products and services. I loved what you said when we were preparing, and I wrote in my notes, you know, don't be married to an idea or a product. What you launched with, like, very well, you know, it could serve you for 20 years, but that doesn't mean that you can't be willing to evaluate and make sure that it's still making the cut. Like you said, every quarter, and attaching it to not just, you know, this is my baby, this is my signature,
my signature thing.
Be committed to your customers and the results, not so much the product, because we all evolve and they need different things from us.
That's it. You know, that's one of the best pieces of advice I ever got, was, you know, marry your customers, not your products. And so you yourself have to be humble enough, but also like solid enough, right? Like if I'm solid, I'm not threatened by possibly the removal of a signature product and the replacement of with something else, or that evolution, right? Like don't be threatened by, oh, that was my identity, and here, you know, oh gosh, what if I evolve? What if you don't? That's a worse question, like a more intense question. What if you don't evolve? Like that's worse. I see that fate as worse. So marry your customer. You can ask yourself, okay, they might have had different needs a year ago than they currently have. And let's be real, let's be honest, we're facing the specter of a global economic, you know, crisis right now, right? So I'm going to guess that your customers, my customers, everybody's listening, their customers are likely faced with at least, if nothing else, some more financial urgency, uncertainty, concern, you know, those sorts of things. They're a little more pressing than they might have otherwise been, right? And so as Alex Charfin says, he says, you know, right now, this is the time to sell painkillers, not vitamins, right? And so whereas our people may have wanted vitamins before because life was good, right? And when life is good, you want to make it better. But when life is not so good, or when life is scary, or the sands are shifting underneath your feet, you're not so worried about your vitamins, because vitamins are great for out there, but you're worried about right here, right now, gaping wound, I need painkillers right now. So it's either, like we were talking offline, you know, he said 100% of business, 100% of businesses are going to need to pivot in some way, whether that's the pivoting of just your messaging, right? Your marketing. So now instead of marketing as a vitamin, you're marketing as a painkiller. Same solution, just different language. Or maybe it is you've got to actually have conversations with your customers who are hurting, or your prospects who are hurting, and figure out how do you serve them in entirely new ways, right? And really reimagine your business, your products, your services, and how you serve them. So it's not that you know, have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and like completely reinvent. And maybe you do, maybe really you do, and that's okay too, right? You have permission. It's okay, but you may not. You may just need to roll up your sleeves and have some deep conversations with your prospects and your customers and figure out right now, right here, how do I serve you best, right? Like, let's put everything else aside, and right here, right now, how do I serve you best? So I think that that's a really great way to approach business, marrying your customers versus marrying your babies, your ideas, your projects, your little pet projects or things that you've launched that you love. And, you know, so yeah, that's just a perspective that I definitely wanted to bring.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it because we can become jaded really, really quickly if we're so in love with the product or the service that we're not willing to recognize that it's not delivering the impact or the results that we really created it for in the first place. You know, I mean, you look at technology is a really easy industry to look at, you know, the cassette tapes, the VCR, you know, all of this type of stuff. If someone is like, you know, got a death grip on their 8-track player, it's like, no, I refuse to do business with Apple iTunes, you know, like it's just like it's one of those things. And I know that's an extreme example. Can you share with us in your own journey, and a little bit of backstory of you know, where you were and where you were at when you created the One Group Away Challenge? But I think it's a great example. That's not your end all be all either. right?
No,
So,
no.
so let's kind of take a look at your business and how you've evolved and how
Yeah.
you've sort of seen, okay, this works, this doesn't work, this is no longer serving me, and what you're stripping away.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a good question. I've never been asked this before, so cool. So I started 14 months ago as an affiliate marketer. Like that was it. 14 months ago, came on the scene. I was hurting for certain. I was in like a bad place financially. And I'm like, what's the fastest path to cash? Like that was it. And I got into the ClickFunnels world. I think I read a blog article by Chris Fong. Not even kidding. Read a blog article by Chris Fong, got sucked into the ClickFunnels world as we do. He was an affiliate. He was talking about affiliate marketing. I was like, ooh, recurring income. Cool. I can do that. So like that was, that's how I got into this world. Right. So I became an affiliate quickly. I guess it was because I was in the One Funnel Away challenge, decided to, I was funnel hacking everything, right? I had just learned about this concept of funnel hacking, and I was like, you can funnel hack social media, you can funnel hack this, that. Like, so I was funnel hacking everything. And I started looking at all the big ClickFunnels affiliates. And I was like, so what are they doing? Are they on YouTube? Are they like, do they have a blog? Like, what is it that they're doing to get their traffic? And I noticed they all had these vibrant Facebook groups. And so I joined all their Facebook groups. And I don't know if it was because I had funnels on the mind, like on the brain, or what it was, but I instantly realized that a Facebook group is simply a high converting sales funnel. That's all it is. Like it's an in vivo living, breathing sales funnel. They ask you some questions when you come in, you exchange you get the freebie for the email address. Okay, cool. That's your opt-in page. They come in, it's like there's training, there's no like and trust factor being built, there's this welcome message, they make a pitch and money falls out the bottom, right? So I was just like, wow, this is incredible. I need one of these. So went ahead and created a Facebook group, started just publishing my face off because, Steve Larson said that was the thing to do. So I was publishing my face off, just trying to
still right there with you. Like,
right?
Darn you, Steve.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so funny. So he was like, publish daily. If you publish 365 days a year, you'll never go hungry. And I heard that message at a time when I was starving. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. So did that. And, I was just going live daily and everything and like attracting all these people into my group. It grew really rapidly. And people were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm throwing spaghetti at the wall. And then some of it's sticking and some of it's not. So and really what I was doing was I was modeling what I saw in other groups. I would watch these group owners and I was like, what are they doing? And I was just trying to model. So, and some of it was great. A lot of it was happening behind the scenes. So I really didn't know what was going on. So decided to do what all good entrepreneurs do, pull out their wallet. I started investing in courses and mentors and gurus and all this stuff, trying to figure out the whole Facebook groups game. Took all that knowledge back, began testing and tweaking and optimizing and trying it out in my group and seeing what worked, seeing what didn't, and developed my own methods from that. And then decided at some point, like, okay, now I'll tell my group what I did. And it was really just ever only supposed to be a challenge for my Facebook group. It was never like supposed to be a big thing. And so we launched it only to my Facebook group. But thankfully had the presence of mind earlier. Like I was like, guys, if you want to be affiliates, that's cool. We can be affiliates. So we created this affiliate army, and they ended up just exploding this thing for us, which was really awesome. I didn't see it coming. It was very cool. And that being the case, it was amazing, and it served an amazing purpose. We got a ton of results, a ton of people built their groups, built their brands, made lots of money, like all this sort of stuff. However, as I personally began to evolve on my journey, which, like I said, I created this almost a year ago. As I began to evolve on my journey, was like, wow, I don't want to just be the groups girl. Like, I want to be more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have to just, I'm going to like virtual standing ovation there. I was so resistant to that too. When I first started out with my agency with running Facebook ads, I'm like, I don't want to be a Facebook ads agency.
That's it.
Everyone and their brother was opening, so I get it.
Yes. So it really, and it was a big identity thing for me because, everybody was like, queen of Facebook groups, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I felt so ambivalent about that. I was like, I don't know if I want that. Right. And so I went on this journey like, okay, if I don't want that, what in the world do I want? Like, what do I want? Right. So then, it was organic traffic, and that's sort of where I am present day. I'm very much focused, not just on groups. Groups are a part of that, but I wanted to kind of one level out the umbrella and really talk more about organic traffic strategies, really like, posting and copywriting and sales psychology and all the different ways in which we draw people into our world and connect with them organically, right? So automation, all the things, right? So I just really wanted to expand that out some, and have been successfully doing that now for the past couple of months. And really, again, we're presented with this very unique opportunity right now with the whole pandemic. Again, I'm taking this critical eye to my own business and going, okay, cool. This organic thing, this is awesome. Love it. Not sure I want to only be known for that, right? So I'm going like, and so I'm really consistently attempting to reinvent. And now at this point, the big question that's driving my entire life and business, I posted it, I don't know, this morning, I think it was, I've been up since like 5. So I'm like, I don't know, was it yesterday, today? I don't know. So posted this morning is really like, how do I, create a business that doesn't consume me? Right? That I'm not working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, number one, that's generating 6 figures a month, and that is recession proof. Like that question right there, I'm obsessed with that question. And I'm obsessed with, there's a great quote by Gandhi that says, I am more committed to the truth than I am to consistency. Because someone called him out. He had said one thing one week, and then the next week said something else. And they said, yeah, but you just said, and he said, that's okay. I'm more committed to the truth than I am to consistency. And so as I applied that quote, I may have been the groups girl and I may have been the organics girl, but I'm more committed to my own personal truth of what matters for me and my business and my customers as I see them change and suffer and in new ways and want to solve those things for them. I want to be more consistently committed to serving their needs in whatever that looks like versus some attachment to an identity that I had, right, in the marketplace. And that may not be the greatest branding advice. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm married to my customers.
I love it. And my favorite thing about that is at my heart and soul at what we do and what we do with Amplify is we teach people to lean into like who they are at their core, like to bring that over to the soul of their business. And, that allows for adapting and pivoting because, everyone's always like, oh, but if I change, like what you said, the groups girl, the organic girl, but you know who you always are. You are always Alex.
That's it.
And I think that is the power of a personal brand. And even I thought it was interesting, about a year ago, I started seeing these same commercials, like with the CEOs of Home Depot and the larger corporations where they were putting a human face, not just like a generic customer experience. Like
right.
You see Coca-Cola and it's like, get real and they're hanging with their friends.
Yeah.
But like it was the CEO doing a commercial, like as in talking to someone like, hi, I'm so-and-so, the CEO of, so they were putting a human personality. Yeah. So, I mean, the thing about that is like when large corporations start doing that, pay attention. Who you are as your authentic self, that will continue to evolve, and equally so your business will rise to meet that.
Amen.
And so when you're going through this, do you find that you're guilty where it's like, even the other day with Jorge, we removed a service from our agency
business, yeah.
And I just told him, I'm like, I'm going to need a little bit of time to mourn the passing.
Yes,
because
totally. Do you know? Okay, I don't know if you call it this, but in my business, we call it killing your babies. Like it's killing your baby. Like, because more than anybody how hard you worked on that thing. You're like, I literally slaved over that thing. So many late nights, so many tears, so much blood, sweat, and tears. Like, and I mean, how much money it also made you, but you also know, it reminds me of a story I heard about Sam Ovens and Alex, what's his name? The guy from Heroes. I can't think of his name.
I can't think of it either.
Okay, yeah, but you know who I'm talking about. He's always on all the YouTube commercials. Okay, that guy, Alex something that we can't remember his name. He came to Sam Ovens and he had like 6 six-figure businesses. Like he literally had 6 six-figure businesses. I mean, clearly the dude knew what he was doing to get to a certain level. And what he said was, I wanna create a 7-8 figure business. And Sam's like, cool. Come back to me when you've got one. Come
Ouch.
back to me when you've got one business that you're working on. You're going to have to kill off the babies. And Alex was like, what? And he talked about that was one of the hardest, most painful decisions of his entire life, but he chose to do it. And he killed off like all the other businesses and pursued the one with Sam and took it, like just skyrocketed it to results he had never seen before. And so, that story gives me chills because it's admonishing. It's admonishing, right? Because we as entrepreneurs, and we all know we do this, we're so freaking creative. I mean, I don't have a million lifetimes for all the ideas I have. I wish I did. Like, I should probably just set up business selling people business ideas, because I have business ideas like 100 a day. It's ridiculous. And I stupidly sometimes believe the lie that I can do it all. And it's a lie. It's absolutely a lie. So yeah, it's a difficult thing to kill your babies. It really is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I think the fact that I am a sentimental person on top of everything, like, I feel like it's such a classic. I'm like, this got me the down payment for our house.
Right.
This got me
like so emotionally attached.
Like this, I can't, like, I got to carry it on my back forever. You know?
It's like a badge.
And I totally respect. And I think that's the power of having that outside perspective, in the coaches that we invest in. Yeah. And with Jorge, because I mean, he's like so unemotionally attached. He's like, no, you have to stop doing that. Because if you don't stop doing that, you're not going to put time and attention into other areas that can grow and scale.
That's it.
And I want to take the time, and I want to, acknowledge him for that, for being willing to dig in. But also a lot of, you mentioned Alex Sharfin, we're using a lot of his frameworks, to keep us focused. And the one thing that I keep coming back to is that simplicity scales, right?
Simplicity scales, complexity doesn't. Amen.
Exactly. Yeah. So what are you doing to simplify your business to take it to the next level?
So good. So right now we are not pushing the One Group Away challenge like we have in the past. It's still in the product suite. It's still there. If people would like to buy it, the link's still available. We're not pushing it. We're not running ads to it. We're not doing any, I used to do a bunch of JV webinars. So we're not doing that right now. I'm not going to shut it down because it still serves people. It's a great bonus to throw in, that sort of thing, but there's no effort or energy kind of being put in that direction at this moment. Right now we have found a funnel that is converting very well for us. And so, it's organic sales machine. And what we're doing, we're duplicating this funnel into several different niches. So we've proven that it converts as long as we can get, the ad messaging right. So what I'm doing, literally, this may be crazy, but this is what we're doing. And we're running it all through a single cart. So there's an intent here. We want to hit 7 figures with this. So what we're doing is I'm paying $1,000 to someone in that niche and saying, hey, someone who I know in my personal network, and saying, hey, I need targeting, I need languaging, I need messaging, I need everything for my ads and the funnel. But the service remains the same. It's simple messaging and positioning. And I'm doing that with this funnel in several different niches, and just having consultants give us the idea of what we need. And so that's a lot of fun, because that's allowing us to focus on organic traffic and really bringing the message of organic leads and sale generation to tons of different niches. So that's we're having a lot of fun with that. And then I'm really personally getting into, and when I personally get into something, you're going to see it come to my customers. It just does. So I'm personally getting into just building, several streams of income, particularly MRR type income, so recurring revenue. So I'm very, very intentionally building that in our business, and want to kind of build out a framework for people that they can follow, that they can begin to build this out in their own life. So I'm excited to at some point bring that out as well.
I love it. And it's so funny because I really, really have a huge heart for organic traffic and nurturing and relationships. Yeah. And it's so funny because everybody's like, wait, aren't you, paid?
Right.
And the thing about it is like, this is the evolution of Amplify. Paid exists to amplify the work that you've done in the beginning.
I could not have said it better. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I will ever have, that same message with organic. I think too many people ignore it because it is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of personal work. It is a lot of time in the beginning to build the relationships to, like you said, even just recognizing the consultants that are niche specific. They know the problems. They know the language. They understand the avatar.
That. Yeah,
Exactly. And it happens like they didn't just decide today in 15 minutes that they're going to study the real estate niche. Like,
no, they've been a realtor for 20 years. Exactly. Right. Exactly. And that's why you find your who's, not your how, that sort of thing. And I 100% agree. So it's very funny. A dear friend of mine, Lisanne Murphy, is a dear friend of mine.
Love her.
You love it. Good. I'm so glad you know her. This makes me so happy. So yeah, Lisanne and I are dear friends, and we actually have agreed upon an exchange of service. So she's running ads for me while I help her grow her organic presence. And it has been so much fun, just because we come at things from such an incredibly different perspective. We could not be more different in our approach. And yet what's been outstanding is like she every day blows my mind. I'm like, what? So awesome. Oh my God. And then the same thing, I every day blow her mind. She's like, I had no idea. Do you know who reached out to me today because they just saw my post? And I'm like, you see, that's how it works. Like, it's so awesome. So we've just had this incredible mutual experience of learning one another's methods and watching each other's methods just pour fuel on the fire. It's been so phenomenal. So I want to wholeheartedly agree that the two dovetail. You really get your highest efficacy when you employ both, right?
Yeah. So for those of you paying attention, right, we're talking about the evolution of business, and what we've talked about is how to transition past, each evolution. Like when just because you started out with a product or service doesn't mean that it doesn't grow or change or be eliminated and left behind. And I think the same thing is true, like as you grow with your customer, your messaging may shift, you may tighten up, you may, like you said, like duplicate into other niches, but you still have a certain vertical that you're working with. Yeah. So like it's 6 ways one, half dozen another, that I think is really, really important. And then I think there's almost like a third item that we need to cover before we wrap things up. And that is that evolution of that team building, right? And just what you started, where I had shared, the different perspective that Jorge brings to the table, and the beautiful example that you just gave of Lisanne, like it's different perspective that's going to make that light bulb come off quicker and keep you in momentum, and building these systems that takes you out of the day-to-day, because that's essential for scaling. So can you talk about team?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have an amazing team. It's myself, my wife. She's my director of sales. She kind of handles all sales, and she handles a lot of like our lead gen and things like that. And she actually manages a team of VAs for us. And then I have an online business manager, a director of operations, whatever you want to call him. He is a genius. He's brilliant at all things automation and tech. And he used to actually be what was it? He was like a project manager for the government of Qatar. Like, this guy's like, he's so smart and he's so experienced. And we ended up just meeting online. We had worked together for over a year before we actually met in person, which is just like a beautiful thing about, working online and meeting people online. So it took a lot of trust in the beginning to like work together, but we work together beautifully. He is strong everywhere that I am weak. And that is such a beautiful thing. And I think you need to hire like that. You always need to like double down personally on your own strengths and get super, super clear about where you are not strong. Like, I am not a graphic designer, never will be, never have a desire to be, just not going to happen. Like I have to outsource that. There are just things like I'm never going to be able to put together an active campaign flow and like make all the things. I get in there and my head's just like, oh, I can't do it. And so like he has to come in there and do all that stuff. So, you just have to decide like where you're strong, where you're good. I'm so good at the ideation. I'm so good at the strategy. I'm so good at seeing, the vision, but the implementation stuff, I'm really also good at delegating and managing that. And so I think that, you need to understand, like, there are not enough hours in the day. There's not enough weeks in the day to get everything done that you need to get done as a struggling solopreneur. So if you don't make that identity shift from struggling solopreneur to CEO of your business, you'll never scale. You'll never grow in the way that you want to grow. You'll never actually have freedom either. Let's be honest. You'll be chained, as that one-man show to your desk forever. Ad infinitum. Like the only way to freedom is team. The only way to freedom is SOPs, is systems, is automations, is outsourcing, is all of those things. I'm a firm believer in work smarter, not harder. And that's for me. Team has meant everything. Team has meant my mental health, my sanity. I remember acutely back last year when I was a solopreneur trying to do it all. I would literally work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I hit a point in May where I started to I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was burnt out. So I scheduled 30 days of posts in my group and just took the month off. I just could not do it anymore. So, and that's no way to run your business. That's, you don't want to have to be escaping your business. You'd like to have a business that actually works for you, not the other way around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So in summary, I definitely want to give you the last word. Any final thoughts? And I hope for those of you who are listening, I hope we've given you a ton of food for thought, not only in your continued personal development, because the thing that I have found with most entrepreneurs is they're a little bit resistant and thinking mindset does play such an important role. But once you get to a point in your business where you realize you are the roadblock, and it's not just because you're overcomplicating certain things. It's you are literally mentally boxing yourself in. That's it. So, and I hope that we've expanded that outlook to the evolution of your business. What does your business need to do to grow up and have that same development within its systems, its frameworks, its teams, its simplification, right? So last word, Miss Alex.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I think that you hit it on the head. I'll never forget, when I first hired my first really expensive coach, that was Liz Benny. One of the very first things she said to me was she was like, welcome. This game is 99% mindset, 1% strategy and tech. And I was like, really? She's like, yep, really. And so that's where we're going to spend the bulk of our time. And I will tell you, I'm a completely different person than I was prior to meeting her. She'll tell you that, everybody will tell you. And that's what it's all about. So when we talk about mindset, if you can say, and I was actually talking to Catherine Jones about this on an interview the other day, she said that her boyfriend told her, the Catherine that I started dating 4 months ago is gone. She's gone. You're not even the same person. And she's like, that's when you know you're doing it right. Right? That's when you know you're doing it right. When you are evolving so quickly in your mindset and your outlook and in your paradigms, in what you think is possible for you, for your business, etc. Right? That the skills at which you think, all of it, the skills at which you problem solve, right? If you do it that way, and if you're changing so radically that every 4 months people are going, wow, you're unrecognizable, you're playing the game correctly, right? So I would challenge your listeners and say, listen, change is the only constant we have, whether it's in life, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in your personal self. The quicker you embrace flow and change, both in yourself, your business, et cetera, it makes you nimble, it makes you lean, it makes you quick, it makes you flexible. You can easily respond. I feel like the quicker you do that, the quicker you are going to be to succeed, right? Because then you're limitless. You're absolutely limitless because you're unafraid.
Exactly. And those are all key components of what we teach. It's the heart and soul of Amplify. We cannot make the impact that we want to make if we are not willing to stretch ourselves and get uncomfortable and continue to grow and take those paths, whether it's baby steps or bold leaps. I think we get to the point, and if you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you realize that there is a sense of responsibility. If you're going to play full out. If you're going to do it, then you're going to have to be invested and getting uncomfortable, making those hard decisions, and in evolving. And I think evolution is permanent. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those, that dance.
Great way to say it. I love it.
Yeah. Could there be, Jorge would joke like Captain Obvious, with an oxymoron, but seriously, like you have to be willing to evolve at every step. So thank you for spending time with us.
You're so welcome.
This was amazing. And I just have to, before we wrap it up, for those of you listening, like, I love Alex. I got to meet her in person, but at FHL, and it was just so wild and crazy. Like, we didn't have time to really connect. And it's interesting that you said, over a year of working with someone, and we have mutual friends, we're in mutual groups, we're chatting back and forth, and it's like, it's about time. Like,
it's time, right? It's so exciting. I know. I'm glad that we actually got time to like go deep and like talk to each other. And sure, it was on an interview, but sometimes that's like the best thing, because you want to like peel back the layers, you want to really give value. And so I appreciate you for having this podcast. I appreciate you for like having this platform where we can come here and just like strip everything away and like talk honestly about these things and talk honestly about the journey and what it takes to, survive and serve and play at a big level and all those things. So I appreciate you, and I love you too.
Right back at you, sister. So thank you, and just keep it on. We are a huge supporter of everything that you do and the way that you lift others up along the way. And you guys, we'll catch you next time on the next episode. Alex, again, love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I hope you've received value, encouragement, and exactly what you need to help keep you in momentum to grow and impact the world around you. Big or small, we all make a difference. Thanks also for subscribing, downloading, and leaving a review. This helps us reach others who need this message in their life. If you know anyone who would benefit from this podcast, please share so you and I can help more people boldly step into purpose. It is my heart's mission to help and encourage others. My internal belief that a rising tide lifts all ships. So much of what we talk about on the podcast is leading with value and building relationships through service. So we've created a collection of resources for you to continue growing, whether you are just getting started or ready to scale your business. Visit amplifymyimpact.com for show notes, downloads, programs, and more information about how to directly work with our team to amplify your impact and change the world.